What is your biggest weakness, and what are you doing to address it?
Is this a comic book version of a presidential campaign? You have as much chance of cutting taxes that much without increasing the deficit as you would of flying away from that podium by flapping your arms really.
You'd have to cut government by about 40% to make it work with a $1.1 trillion goal.
It's not true.
It is true. I looked at the numbers.
You said yesterday that you were hearing proposals that were just crazy from your colleagues. Who are you talking about?
Now you're skipping more votes than any senator to run for president. Why not slow down, get a few more things done first, or at least finish what you start?
It raises the question whether you have the maturity and the wisdom to leave a $17 trillion economy. What do you say?
Here with reaction, RNC Chairman Reince Priebus. Reince, how are you? Good to see you.
Nice to see you too, Sean.
I know there's been some brushback for you on all of this. What is your response to that, and what is your position going forward?
Well, I think that where this is heading, I think is in the right place, meaning I think the candidates themselves want to have control, at least some of the candidates want to have control over the formatting question. So opening or closing. You want a 2-hour debate, or do you want a longer than 2-hour debate? So those sorts of
opening statements, whatever it is. So they have different positions.
That to me, how many questions does everyone get? I think that where this is going is actually in a good place, where the candidates are going to be more involved on that piece. And then we're going to be involved on the sanction of the debate, the calendar, when it is, all the logistics, plus the power and authority to desanction a debate. If there's an agreement with the candidates that they're not getting what they want, then they can use the power and leverage of the RNC to desanction a debate. Because otherwise, what happens then is that we end up in the middle of a situation where some candidates want a 1-minute opening, some don't want any opening, some want a 30-second opening. I mean, that is a bad place for the party to be.
So that's not your decision. That's not your role.
Well, I think it's a good thing that the candidates have decided that there are a few things that they can all agree on, and they're going to pursue them, and we'll support them. I mean, our role is to support what the candidates want, and that's what we should do, and that's what we will do.
And you have now assigned a new person just to advocate for them.
That's right. So we've got our former chief counsel at the RNC, chief operating officer Sean Cairncross, who's going to be in charge of negotiating the contracts with the networks. But keep in mind,
NBC's out, right? They're not going to get that debate
We
back.
suspended NBC, but because now, obviously, it's going to be up to the candidates. So we have to, obviously, we're going to confer with the candidates and see what they want. And by the way, that's an end of February.
And if they decide to cancel CNN because they're biased, and NBC and ABC because they're biased,
we're going to do what we're going to do what the candidates want.
Right.
Now, again, the challenge with 15 candidates, there's a lot of different opinions.
Right.
So it's easy to say that this is what we want, this makes sense or that makes sense. Well, maybe not, and not necessarily.
You know what bothered me the most about that debate? We have moderators thinking it's their role to debate the candidates or to make them fight against each other rather than get to the substance. And I applaud the candidates because I thought in the end they were very substantive. Here's what's missing. Under Obama, he will accumulate more debt than every other president before him combined.
They didn't talk about that.
That didn't come up. It didn't come up. We have millions more Americans in poverty on food stamps, millions of more Americans out of the labor force. Not once did they bring up how bad Obama's economy has been and how to fix it.
In their promises to the candidates in the RNC, CNBC said that they were going to have a financially centered debate, just like their show on Squawk in the morning every single day. Right. They've done it before. They did it 4 years ago. They're going to talk about technology. They're going to talk about energy. They're going to talk about strictly financial matters. And they didn't do it. When this was going on, I was thinking about that scene in Forrest Gump, when he goes and speaks in front of all of the people on the National Mall, and they pull the electricity.
And Jenny runs through
the
water.
I said, where is the circuit breaker in this place?
So if the candidates decide that George Stephanopoulos is out, he's out.
Well,
I don't think he should. He's already out.
Not.
Right. If they decide that CNN is biased, they're out.
Well, but there's things that you can do. I mean, you can work with these networks and say, okay, who's all the talent that you have on your network? And you can say, okay, well, we like these 2 people or these 3 people, but these are the types of things that we're going to work with the candidates on to make sure that they're satisfied that the right people are up there. But it doesn't mean that when their curtain goes up and the lights turn on, that people don't turn into monsters. I mean, no one can prevent totally that from happening.
So from here on in, all the candidates, does it have to be a majority? Does it have to be a total agreement? Does it have to be consensus? I noticed Ben Carson, for example, he doesn't even want it on a network. He wants it online.
Well, I mean, I think at some, and that's why they're going to be dealing with this subject. That's why they had a meeting on Sunday night. When you saw the real narrative in these articles, they said we need to get together first on our own, so that we can determine what it is that we can agree on.
And the debate structure, for those that have forgotten, from 2008 to 12 has changed a lot already. You reduced dramatically the number of debates.
We wanted to do a few things, which was not have a 23 debate calendar that no one could predict. So we're now down to 9 to 12 debates, a reasonable number. We also wanted to have some say over who the moderators are. You know, you can't always dictate to networks that are spending millions of dollars putting these things, but you know they're making money too. Also, we didn't anticipate.
See the rates they're charging?
Yeah, we didn't. Also, when you put this thing together 6 months ago, do you anticipate 25 million? You know, so but we want to do a few things: reduce the number of debates, have some say over the moderators, and make sure there's a calendar people could count on. But you know, all these other things, these other things, the candidates should deal with.
So really, everything's open now. Everything will be revisited. Nothing is set in stone.
The calendar of debates is set. However, everything's going to be revisited. I mean, everything. You know, so we have the dates. The dates candidates can count on, but everything's going to be revisited with the candidates.
Okay, Ryan, it's good to see you. Thank you.
Nice to see you.
Appreciate it.